Hello and welcome to third Series 9 Metagame Monday, where I take a look at the popular team archetype and explain how and why its sets work, how to beat it, and how it matches up against other archetypes in form of replays. So you remember me, this was one of my first videos I covered on this, Series 7 videos I covered on this channel. It was the only Series 7 video, Metagame Monday, I covered, was the Tornadus Metagross. And you know what? A lot of time has passed since then, so let's take a look at Tornadus Metagross again and see how it matches up against the metagame after whole length of Series 7. Since, as you might remember, I thought Metagross Tornadus is going to be the most overpowered combo ever when I went into Series 7, but now a lot of stuff has kind of changed, especially when you're going to see in the counteraction section how it is actually seriously easy to counteract this, but more on that later. So let's cover the Metagross. So what do I want to do with this EV spread? So basically, as you have seen in one of my previous videos, I covered Regigigas. I said the Regigigas wants to kind of be bulky, so it takes more attacks next to Glastrier, which means the Regigigas is not as fast as, for example, this Regigigas. It's like basically has almost no investment, so it means it reaches like 226 speed. This is literally a maximum you probably get with the Regigigas archetype. So not only you outspeed Regigigas in the slow Regigigas in Tailwind, you also outspeed all other Metagross, which is very important in the mirror section. You're gonna see once we get the mirrors, this is gonna be very important that we outspeed the Metagross every time. Also, we get like a breakpoint here in the attack stat. You see we get 2 extra points, and rest of the EV spread is put into the bulk. Then the moves are self-explanatory. You want the stab move, you want the max quake, so you kind of KO the fire types a little bit better, and you take care of the stuff like Regigigas, since electric types resist your ground type moves. And if you're gonna face up against stuff like Zapdos, or you're gonna face up against ground types like Garchomp, Thundurus, you just go for the max Hellstorm from Ice Punch and you're gonna take care of it as well. Weakness Plus is there for an obvious reason, since we got Tornadus on the team as well. So what does Tornadus do? So basically it sets up Tailwind for the rest of the team, although the rest of the team is already pretty fast in Garchomp and Regigigas, so it usually doesn't really need Tailwind to be effective. But stuff, I mean, like, Garchomp still appreciates it, right? It's not like it's going to outspeed stuff like Regigigas or Sunrays anyway. And Tapu Fini doesn't outspeed much anyway, so like you get like 220 speed, so you outspeed Sunrays again. So yeah, and you actually outspeed Dragapult with this Tapu Fini. So yeah, Tailwind is kind of useful. Also, Metagross really appreciates that. As I've said before, Metagross suddenly can outspeed Dragapult and Tailwind, and you can go for like max Steel Spike, which increases your defense. Then Dragapult goes for max Phantasm, doesn't do all that much damage, procs your weakness, Blissey, and stuff gets out of control really fast for the opponent from that moment on. So yeah, Tailwind really helps this team. You got Focus Sash to take extra attack. You got Hurricane. It's kind of inaccurate move. Like, yeah, it's very inaccurate move, but it's like the power difference between Air Slash and Hurricane is so big that it's just kind of worth the risk. Also, you can sometimes Dynamax Tornadus, and this means you can actually go for 100% accurate moves, right? So that's kind of useful. But if it happens to happen that opponent doesn't have super effective move it wants to use against Metagross, you can use Brutal Swing to proc the weakness policy on Metagross on your own. And Ice Wind is the last move, so basically with Ice Wind you can slow down opponents a little bit further. It's also a spread move and also helps with stuff like Urshifu and stuff like Garchomp, Landros. You hit them a little bit harder, which might be useful in late games at some point. So yeah, I like Ice Wind. I believe it's actually important in one of the game plans I'm going to show you in replays. So yeah, stick to the Ice Wind. Now, you might be a little bit confused, like, this lead is very hyper-offensive, but what is Tapu Fini and Incineroar doing here? So basically, these two Pokemon make sure the team is somewhat consistent and got some defensive backbone. So basically, without these two guys, we would not be able to face up against Trick Room. So basically, what is our Trick Room game plan? Well, you go at Metagross, and you just Parting Shot, set up Misty Train, intimidate the opponent, set up Calm Minds, and increase your defenses with Max Steel Spike and Max Quake. That's it. That's your Trick Room game plan. And usually, I'm gonna say, usually when opponents only Trick Room Pokemon is like Glastrier, which is usually actually the case, because they got like Incineroar and Finny on their own. So they basically got Glastrier as their only offensive Trick Room Pokemon, and it's very aggressive. Usually they are not gonna break through +1 defense Tapu Fini and +1 defense Metagross. It's like they cannot even attack in the Metagross, right? Since if they attack the Metagross, they go proc the weakness Blissey, and then we KO back with Max Steel Spike with weakness Blissey Beast. So they have to target down Fini, but target Fini with +1 defense takes like 40% from Glastier's life for Max Quake, and like recovers back with leftovers. Whew, yeah, it's kind of hard for an opponent to deal with that. And let's not even forget, we actually have Intimidate Incineroar on the team. That's another irritating factor for the opponent's Glastrier. So, yeah, other than that, these sets are incredibly self-explanatory. Excuse me, what is this set? I actually don't remember what's this for. So let me actually show you probably the best spread for Incineroar nowadays. Or like, the spread I'm actually used to run for like so long. So basically, I get 36 attack here, so we are guaranteed to KO Venusaur in Sun with Flare Blitz. That's pretty useful. We get 84 special defense, so we take the Venusaur's Max Quake, left for Max Quake, and the rest of it we just put a little bit in defense, and we put a lot of speed. Maybe not that much speed investment, but we basically win every speed tie. And we just, with other Incineroars, we go for Fake Out, and we Parting Shot them before they can taunt us if they go taunt, which is actually pretty popular on Series 7 Incineroar taunt. So, yeah, we outspeed them, we go for Parting Shot before they can attack, and we just kind of just win. So yeah, this is like the best EV spread. Take the Max Quick from Venusaur, KO the Venusaur, G-Max Venusaur in Sun back, and we outspeed all other Incineroars. So yeah, this is pretty good spread for Incineroar. The attacks are self-explanatory. It's your basic Incineroar. You got like million guides on YouTube for that, I guess. Protect, like this is very simple spread. So basically, leftovers on Tapu Fini allows us to win against Eerie, Impulse, less Porygon 2 in late game. Yeah, by the way, like if you get like 2 Calm Minds up, the Tri Attack from Porygon 2 does like 12%. Which with Leftovers Recovery and Protect, plus Leftovers Recovery, you actually out-recover, so you kind of can still have Porygon 2 in the late game. So you can do that against Sun as well, because if they get like Torkoal, Porygon 2 in the back, like Torkoal is not gonna do much either, so basically Leftovers allows us to stall some special attacker scenarios in late game, if you get what I mean, right? Other than that, the CV spread allows us to outspeed almost every other Fini, but other Finis tend to get faster. But this is like, we basically outspeed every Fini that just says, I don't care, I'm gonna run some speed on Fini. Maybe I'm gonna outspeed some other Finis, but this EV spread allows us to pretty much outspeed every single one of these Finis that has this mindset. Yeah, we just get a breakpoint here. Again, you see we get 2 extra points for only 8 EVs, and that's it. So yeah, Regigigas on this team, what does it do? So, it's one of our alternative sweepers on this team. So we basically, I don't remember where we use it right now. Wow, and I recorded the replays yesterday, so you're gonna see in which replays we're gonna use the Regigigas in, but basically it's one of our alternative sweepers. I believe it. I don't remember. Wow, I'm completely just blacked out right now, but basically it's one of our late game sweepers, and if we can use it, we can use it as our Dynamax sweeper as well. Electroweb, Thunderbolt, Volt Switch. It's your more so every your basic Regigigas you saw in Series 7. It's not that sweeper like Dynamax sweeper Regigigas you see in Series nowadays. It's like it can Dynamax sweep, but it's not its main purpose. It's like it can be used as Electroweb, like slowed down, or wow, is that even a word? I don't know. But it can be used as like Thunderbolt spammer. It can Volt Switch again to gain momentum, and it's pretty powerful with Life Orb. So yeah, it's like one of your more basic Regigigas. Yeah, but start of the team is this Garchomp. So this Garchomp. Let me actually check if the music is going. Excuse me. Come on. Wow, the music is... Wow, look at that. It's just loading. Okay, but we're gonna probably just let it slide in. There's not gonna be any music. So, this garchomp. Okay, so this garchomp is nice. So basically, it allows us to beat a Regigigas team. So if you're, like, you've seen this team, and you saw the video on Regigigas, you're probably guessing like, wow, wait a minute, that's an easy one, which it is. Basically, Regigigas could, if it's running a little bit more speed, it could outspeed Metagross. Helping in the Glastrier gives it another boost, and Max Lightning straight up one-shots the Metagross. Tornadus cannot do much against Regigigas. Incineroar cannot do much against Regigigas. Tapu Fini cannot do much against Regigigas. This Regigigas actually loses the Mirror because it doesn't have Max Strike or from Hyper Beam. So we are kind of screwed against Regigigas. And this Sun matchup is not nice as well. So Garchomp comes to the rescue. Basically, Garchomp is our anti-Regigigas and the Sun weapon. This moveset is a little bit confusing, but you're gonna see uses for Break and Swipe and Bulldoze later in the video. Bulldoze is nice because it can be... Garchomp basically can be used as like additional self-proc Pokemon for the Metagross. Basically, you like outspeed Urshifu. You go for Bulldoze, break its Focus Sash, and you proc the Metagross's weakness policy, and then Metagross goes for Max Steel Spike and one-shots the Urshifu. Also, Garchomp can of course Dynamax and get ridiculously special bulky with Max Quake and Assault Vest boost, so I think we're gonna go up against some Ice move in the replays, and it's going to do like 45%, which is gonna be quite funny. Also, we got like bread and butter moves, Earthquake, Dragon Claw for the stabs. I think I'm gonna be missing not having Rock Slide later, but Breaking Swipe will win some late game matchups as well, and like Breaking Swipe is kind of useful as well for some late game scenarios where you kind of clean up. So yeah, you're gonna see use for that a little bit later. It's kind of cute move that is a spread move. It has that wonderful effect of lowering the attack stat by 1, and that's it. The EV spread is self-explanatory. I wanted to run a bulky Garchomp with not much speed investment, but then I realized how much Metagross could appreciate that Bulldoze coming from a faster Pokemon than Urshifu, so I decided to just run max speed regardless. And yeah, you're gonna actually see max speed coming into play against some Kingdra. I'm gonna show you in replays. So yeah, the basic mode is to go for Tornadus Metagross or Tornadus Aleki or Tornadus Garchomp for the like sweeps, you know. This is your basically sweep mode. The most basic one, of course, is Metagross plus Tornadus combo for the weakness plus a Brutal Swing Tailwind boosts. But don't fear to go with Tornadus Aleki or Tornadus Garchomp to throw your opponent off guard. If you see a Trick Room team, do not bring Tornadus, just go with Metagross, Incineroar, and Tapu Fini, and you're gonna just kind of, you're gonna outbulk this. Of course, Garchomp can be used as a great bulky Pokemon to switch into as well, since it got quite a good number of resistances thanks to Dragon and Ground typing. And basically, yeah, have you noticed this Tornadus doesn't have Taunt? That's because we already got such a good Trick Room matchup with these 4 Pokemon together. So yeah, if you got any more questions regarding the team cores or like how the synergies work, of course, ask. Just feel free to ask in the comments. But now we're gonna go over to the replay section. So the first matchup we're gonna cover is the standard Sun, which you see is a little bit different from the previous videos. But this is basically the highlighter Sun, and in previous videos I shown you like the 1100 Tihu Sun. So turn 1 we switch to Fini just so we can resist, so we just don't get Sleep Powder spam to Oblivion. I expect opponent to just go for Max Quake here, just to kind of like nibble on the Incineroar a little bit. And thanks to the Max Quake boost, we just take the Heat Wave much better. So yeah, that's actually important to get the Max Quake boost first. So we take the Heat Wave, and then after Weakness plus a boost, we should be easily able to just scale the Venusaur. And Muddywater finishes up the Torkoal. So even if I believe if Fini would not have survived this turn, we still would have been pretty fine. Basically with the Intimidate spam on these 2 Pokemon and Fake Out, we can just kind of like recycle almost infinitely. And Garchomp in the back with Break and Swipe, I still think we would have been in great advantage, even if Torkoal would have gotten another chance to attack. So, yeah, but you see, for example, we could just, like, yeah, that's an easy KO there. Even if they would, for example, bring in Urshifu with Torkoal in, we could just kind of like go for a Steel Spike into that slot and get a Get a guaranteed knockout, since I believe like 40% left on Torkoal. Yeah, that's like easy Steel Spike knockout. And we just can like get Landorus in the back as well. Yeah, I think with the Intimidate and Garchomp, we would still be able to prevail against these Urshifu plus Landorus in the back. So let me just go hyper fast right now. Oh, the Wicked Blow actually knocking out, but yeah, we just finish off this game with Garchomp. Alright, so that's the Sun matchup. Yeah, I just realized I could have just switched Metagross to Feeny and Flutter Blitz to Venusaur for guaranteed knockout, and that would have been probably a win straight up. So, yeah. But let's get to this replay. So basically, this was like the bad matchup previously. This is our good matchup, thanks to the presence of Metagross and its kind of like infinite max Steel Spikes. Though you're gonna see this Dusclops will get very, very irritating. So basically what I do with the Garchomp lead is I basically eliminate the Urshifu as a threat. So if they led with Urshifu, I could have just went for Bulldoze plus max Steel Spike, and I could have just knocked it out straight up. Also, I just kind of delayed the Dynamax a little bit here. Dusclops usually doesn't carry Will-O-Wisp anymore, since it kind of doesn't really need it. With Feeny around, the Haze is a little bit better. So, by the way, watch these plays very carefully. I'm gonna be doing something smart here. Pain Split, yeah, that's a free Pain Split right now. I go for Darkest Lariat to myself here, but I just realized I should have went for Flare Blitz here to just... It would have done a little bit less damage. And you see this, we just kind of like made the play right here. So basically, we forced Dusclops to Haze here, so basically, if it would have been for Pain Split, Steel Spike would have knocked it out, and that would have been loss. Because Metagross with +2 attack coming into this play with like could have just protected and just could have kind of won. So yeah, basically we could have forced out Dusclops to not be able to go for Pain Split and Haze at the same time. And with Haze, you see, we kind of got rid of the boost, but we also got rid of the Dusclops as a threat. So that's kind of a huge win for us. Also, we just gonna play this late game pretty slowly. This is pretty safe. This Glastrier is not gonna win 1 versus 4. It's just, even though it kind of has the good matchup here, it's a bit too much. It's a bit too much to ask like Glastrier for. So yeah, I'm gonna go for Hyper Fast here. We're just gonna go for Moon Blast and Iron Heads here. Yeah, we flinch that and that's a win. Yeah. So that's the game plan against the Glastrier Trick Room team. Alright, so Wolfeys Coalossal. I believe we actually got... Oh yes, this is gonna be a fun This is gonna be a fun one. So basically, Garchomp plus Tornadus just kind of wins. That's the matchup, I swear. It's absolutely ridiculously good matchup in our favor. Even if they lead like Incineroar, we can just kind of like switch to Feeny and like to avoid the Will-O-Wisp, and like, yeah, it's not very favorable matchup as you're gonna see. Like, watch this. I'm gonna just go fast, like, yeah. Max Dragon, like this Roller Beam is already at -2 attack, and look at that damage. The Hurricane didn't even matter, we hit that. Max Quake, I think, would KO even through Protect, and yeah, this is a win. Yeah, so we got really good matchup against the Wolfeys Coalossal just because we got the Garchomp on the team, which I'm kind of proud of. Alright, we just won this game, late game. So yeah, cool, that's the Wolfeys matchup. Alrighty, so we got the Regigigas double horse team right here. Let's see how we match up against that. So yeah, they lead. So basically, these are the notes for that. So basically, they cannot go with Glastrier because we got Metagross, and they cannot go with Regigigas because we got Garchomp. So the most neutral lead is gonna go and be a Spectrier lead, because it like this is the like. Wow. So basically it just kind of like can win against like everything, but not really, as you're gonna see here. So you might think it matches up against the Garchomp like fine, but that didn't do much damage. Yeah, it's not a lot of damage. So yeah, I gotta go for like Brutal Swing here because there's not much to do with the... actually, did I just hurt myself with the Rough Skin? Wow. That could... Okay, don't do that next time. I just realized Brutal Swing actually is contact move like right now. When I was recording this replay, I didn't realize that. That's kind of a shame. But we would have taken the Max Phantasm because we were at +2 +2 special defense. So yeah, I just gonna like go for some kind of intimidate recycling here. Tapu Fini is not like that much endangered here. And yeah, we just can like clean up this very slowly and surely, just clean this up. So fake out close combat, we just go for Moon Blast, which is kind of safe. Now we go in the Garchomp, which breaking swipe, Moon Blast with Hammer doesn't do all that much damage. Dragon Claw, Moon Blast, win the game. So yeah, by the way, if you have not noticed yet, the Misty Terrain can kind of ruin Garchomp's type matchups against grass types, so keep an eye on that. But Garchomp already did everything it needed to do, so it kind of didn't care about a Misty Terrain in late game. But yeah, here you go, the double dual horse Regigigas matchup. Alright, the matchup everyone has been waiting for, the mirror matchup. So basically what we do turn 1, we kind of like force Metagross to respect our Regigigas here. So basically, if Metagross would not solve the Regigigas here, Regigigas would have most likely went on reverse sweep. So we waste 1 turn of Dynamax and slow down the Tornadus a little bit. So this makes the Metagross come in right now. So basically, Ice Wind gets in, just slows down the Tornadus a little bit more. So Metagross guaranteed outspeeds it, gets the Steel Spike off, and unfortunately, we got a little bit of a bad roll, I believe here, since Tornadus got brought down to too much low health, and we just kind of lost it right here. So basically we go for Bulldoze here to slow down Urshifu down, and we go for Steel Spike in the Urshifu. So I'm gonna remind you here, most Metagross side do not run Ice Punch anymore, since they really, like, basically they run Rock Slide instead of the Ice Punch, just so you don't have to take care of Rotom Heat that much. Like, basically the opponent's team right here would have been kind of like Shining Peril's team would have been completely screwed against the Rotom Heat if they would not have the Rock Slide on the Metagross. So basically, with Rock Slide on Metagross, our Garchomp allowed survived the hit from the Metagross, which allowed us to kind of like Bulldoze freely and made us finish the game in a little bit more clean fashion. So yeah, Garchomp's Bulldoze really played a big role here, because it slowed down Urshifu, and then we just kind of like went on from there. Although the matchup is going to be a little bit, I still feel the matchup is a little bit janky in here and there, but I think you should still be able to win, only thanks to the fact Metagross actually won every single speed tie, which it wasn't a speed tie because we got very fast Metagross. So yeah, that's the Metagross matchup, the mirror matchup. Alright, the Rain matchup. So basically, I'm gonna tell you a little secret right here. The Kingdra is very slow. So basically, that allows us to make play like this. Electro Web to slow down the Kingdra, so we can get a Max Quake off against the Politoed. And now Max Dragon doesn't do all that much damage. Cool. Very cool. Yeah. So Rillaboom comes in, so I decided to make a little bit of I believe a bad play, because I switched to Tapu Fini here. And I Max Dragon the Rillaboom. I think I could have went for a Max Quake and a Kingdra, which would have been a little bit more productive. But yeah, again, retrospect, the Max Dragon might have been a little bit worth it, since the Grassy Cloud would have otherwise knocked me out. So basically, this is a Choice Band Rillaboom on this team, so yeah, this is a little bit dangerous. Also, with the 2 max special defense boost, I think opponent should have decided that Max Dragon wouldn't do that much damage on Garchomp, and knocking out Tapu Fini is a little bit of a bigger priority. Also, this Break and Swipe does absolutely no damage, because there's not only Misty Terrain, but also there is, basically, Kingdra has dropped 2 of our attacking stages with 2 Max Dragons. Yeah, but in this late game, Incineroar just kind of went, so yeah, I think the key to winning this matchup is truly that we outspeed the Kingdra on the opponent's side, and we Electro a bit so we get a Max Quake boost, and we just kind of won the matchup because of that. I do not believe they will bring Celesteela to this matchup, since the likelihood of Regigigas in late game is so high. So yeah, I don't think they'll bring the either Entei or Celesteela to this matchup. So yeah, this is the standard Rain matchup. Alright, the so-called Nutcore. I believe we use Regigigas here as well, since it has such a positive matchup. I believe this replay is actually really long, so Basically, what we do turn 1 is we try to kind of stop the nasty plot, which is very obvious. The Glastrier Protect is the most obvious thing ever. Like, it goes for Protect guaranteed here. So yeah, we just kind of try the Glastrier here for the Regigigas, which is not a very nice trade, but we're gonna win in late game anyway, so you're gonna see this is kind of like necessary sacrifice. So we did the Glastrier doesn't no longer bothers us. Now with Garchomp in, basically opponent got two choices: switch to Urshifu or switch to Nihilego. Both of them are kind of wrong, since the Garchomp and Tornadus just kind of counteract both of these things. So yeah, so basically I'm just gonna go for like yeah, so basically go for Dragon Claw, since there's no way the Nihilego does not switch out. There's just no way. Or Protect, so yeah. That is kind of the obvious play to me. Here I just could not master the fact that I'm gonna go for Blind Hurricane in Sun, so I just choose not to go for the Blind Hurricane in Sun. Yeah, we slowed down the Rotom enough right here, so yeah, we also got like 2 speed drops on Urshifu, so now we can go for a Tailwind, and in Sun we're gonna straight up KO the Urshifu with Flat Blitz. Alright, let's go for here. Nihilego is back, which is kind of bad. We go for Icy Wind, and we go for Darkest Lariat on Rotoms, just so it doesn't go for like some kind of like stupid Thunderbolt. So yeah, Meteor Beam charges up. That is not very good. But the Sun goes out next turn, and we can switch the Garchomp, go for Hurricane, which has a little bit more accuracy, guaranteed knocks out the Rotom, and Earthquake guaranteed knocks out the Nihilego. So this matchup is a little bit, yeah, it's not very nice, but I got some notes here, basically. I think leading Finny Alaki might not be a bad idea, just because Finny, Rotom here leads so much. So yeah, basically, if I would have changed something, I would have probably let Regigigas plus Tapu Finis, just so we have a better matchup against Rotom Clefairy lead. So basically, they cannot knock you out without helping hand from Clefairy. They cannot knock out of Tapu Fini. And if they go for Dynamax and like helping hand, we just go for Max Lightning, kill the Clefairy, trade the Clefairy for Tapu Fini. And they not only tried Clefairy for Tapu Fini, but we also tried no nasty plot setup on the Rotom. So that's actually very important to see. There's not going to be any nasty plot on Rotom, and then Regigigas just kind of like KOs everything on the team, especially if it's allied with Garchomp. So yeah, I think just lead, instead of what I like here, lead a lucky Tapu Fini. Alright? The last replay. Wow, I'm just kind of getting hungry for the lunch now, but let's finish this, alright? Let me finish recording this. So, Weezing Regigigas. What a great lead to see. Right, so I actually have no idea what I go for. Oh yeah, so basically this is very obviously going to be a Max Hellstorm into the Garchomp. It's, as always, Weezing just kind of protects turn 1 because it's so frail. So yeah, Max Hellstorm goes into Incineroar. And yeah, I just kind of like simulate a little bit smarter opponent here, since I believe Weezing has to kind of switch out here. So basically, if Max Airstream would have hit, this would have been a win. So basically, go for another Max Airstream. We're gonna go for Parting Shot, Slow Start, -2 attack Regigigas. That does still do 17%. Wow. That's basically -6, and it still does so much. Also, I'm gonna be a little bit like, I'm gonna be seriously surprised what I'm gonna see here. So basically, Garchomp doesn't outspeed Regigigas at +1 speed, so I just kind of like want to KO the Regigigas with the Max Airstreams. And watch this. The Hellstorm actually knocks out the Garchomp by the Hell damage, which I was really surprised by. After all, this is -2, kind of like -2 times -2 Regigigas. Like, what? Yeah, so basically, Weezing probably comes back in, so I'm just gonna go for Ice Wind, which finishes off the Regigigas guaranteed now. Ice Punch does a lot of damage to Tornadus, but not enough. And Muddy Water does good chip damage again. Good. So next thing we do is, actually I believe Weezing protecting here is actually a bad play, since the best thing opponent can hope for is to get a double switch to Urshifu plus Regigigas. But even against that, I got a counter attack. So basically, if Regigigas plus the Urshifu would come in here. By the way, this is choice band Urshifu, which has to choose between Sucker Punch and Wicked Blow. So basically, what opponent like chose here was Wicked Blow, just because like Yeah, Sucker Punch would have been automatic loss here. So if there would be a Regigigas plus Urshifu at this moment, and Urshifu would be locked into the Sucker Punch, or like anything basically, we would be able to go for Fake Out into Regigigas and Moonblast this Urshifu for free, and this Urshifu would not be able to basically get an attack off, and maybe like Sucker Punch against Fini, which no one cares about. Which means we would have killed the Urshifu, Regigigas would be still at 9% health, and this would be the situation after that play. Like, yeah, Regigigas cannot knock out both of his Pokemon at the same time, and we just gonna go for a Muddy Water, Moonblast plus Flare Blitz for the guaranteed knockout. So, yeah, this is the game plan against Regigigas. Alright, David, what are the counters to this? Well, this is actually seriously easy team to counteract. So, basically, as I've said at the beginning of the video, Regigigas with a little bit more speed and investment is probably like your best bet. Since, well, usually like Regigigas plus Clefairy is your best bet. So basically, or any Helping Hand, like Urshifu gets Helping Hand. So if you go for a Helping Hand Max Lightning turn 1, there's a chance even if they set up Tailwind with Tornadus, you're gonna outspeed and straight up KO the Metagross. And that's a win basically. So only thing that's an obstacle is this rare Garchomp on this team, which I've invented. So do not count on seeing Garchomp on this team anytime soon. But if you do, get Venukoal on your Regigigas team. It's actually pretty good counteraction to any Garchomp team you're gonna face. So basically, Regigigas has a lot of trouble with Garchomp teams, with Celesteela, and Venukoal kind of tries to solve that. So if you get like Venukoal and Urshifu Water type on your team with Regigigas, you're pretty much gonna be out of oblige against any Garchomp team. So yeah, Regigigas, Venukoal, that's your easy ticket to win. Yeah. You can also Dynamax Venukoal if you want. If you see Garchomp late, just don't fear the Dynamax Venukoal. There's a chance opponent did not even bring Metagross in the back, since it's just kind of like not that good without Dynamax and not that good without being light. So Celesteela is another obvious counteraction for this. It can get like special attack boosts ridiculously easily if you like, basically, like if 2 max flares are guaranteed to knock out Metagross. And Metagross cannot go for max Quake against your Celesteela, it has to kind of go for max Hellstorm, which I believe doesn't even do it go at +2 attack. And also it has to kind of like put all this effort to knock out Celesteela just to remove it as a threat. So, which kind of means that the Celesteela's ally can kind of take care of the opponent's team as well. So basically the opponent has to kind of focus Celesteela just so they can survive with Metagross. Also Celesteela has very good matchup against the Garchomp on his team, regardless if they got Rock Slide or not. Only thing you have to take care about, or just be careful of, is the opponent's Eleki, which basically what you need to just get is like Garchomp on your team or Raichu, and Eleki no longer is a threat. Like, yeah, if you get Raichu, this is like pretty bad matchup for the opponent. So yeah, highly recommend running Flamethrower Life Orb Celesteela. It's one of the best counteractions. Sunrise is also pretty good counteraction, although it's kind of like, is probably the least usable out of these 3, because like if they set up Tailwind and go for max Quake, they really hit you hard, and then the Tornadus can kind of like finish you off. So if you want to run Cinderace, you probably want to run your own Tailwind, which in that case you got like phenomenal matchup. As you see, yeah, basically I just realized your own Tailwind, which with a little bit more hyper offensive Pokemon, is generally a very good matchup, since they got like defensive slow Pokemon with Metagross, Incineroar, and Fini, which basically count on your own Tailwind to outspeed the other fast Pokemon, other hyper-offensive Pokemon. So if you got your own Tailwind, your hyper-offensive Pokemon are going to out-pressure the defensive Pokemon, especially in Dynamax metagame, which pretty much makes you win the game very easily. But watch out, this Sunrise does not one-shot Metagross even with Power Ball and Life Orb. It does not, and the Metagross goes one-shot back. So I would probably recommend running like Steel Spike, so you just hit the Fini a little bit harder, Max Knuckle of course to hit the Incineroar a little bit harder, and Steel Spike allows you to also get defense boost and just do it KO the opponent's Tornadus, and then you can go for Max Knuckle to finish up the Tornadus. You get the idea. So yeah, probably you need to run your own speed control, but if you do, Sunrise is absolutely phenomenal. Also, alright, so these next checks are like, do not really require Dynamax. As you saw, Rotom Heat did a lot of bad stuff to our team. Basically, if you get Rotom Heat, you're probably gonna have a good matchup. Like, helping at Overheat or Max Flare straight up one-shots Metagross, and Metagross has to kind of get, like, Rockfall out, which is, like, it basically forces Metagross to run Rockfall, but if you're next to, like, Clefairy, you've got nothing to really worry about. Even if they go for, like, a Max Guard, and then they go for Brutal Swing plus Max Rockfall, I believe with Friend Guard boost, you actually straight up survive the Max Rockfall, and then you just one-shot back with the helping and Max Flare, and then you just win the game. You can set up pretty free Nasty Blood against Regigigas. Same applies for pretty much the same thing applies for Rotom Wash. So, Rotom Wash doesn't have that much of a good matchup against Metagross. It takes a little bit more effort to knock out Metagross, which I feel this is why you should run like Dark Pulse on the team, on your Rotom Wash. So you just guaranteed to hit KO the Metagross with Max Darkness at +2. But it also, Rotom Wash actually deals with Garchomp much better, so this is like its perk. It can actually deal with Garchomp. With Rotom Heat, you probably need to run some kind of like Ice-type Pokemon, which I've advertised already. Venilux, try Venilux, seriously, it's amazing check to Garchomp. And last, probably honorable mention for this team is, if you somehow manage to survive into late game, you can, and Metagross stops Dynamaxing, you can probably finish it up with Bucket Blow, which goes through defense boost and does like minimum of 80% to the Metagross, and Urshifu kind of outspeeds as well, so yeah, I think Urshifu is great counteraction to the Metagross. It can kind of like ignore the max Dragon Boost from Garchomp, so it doesn't really take that many rough skin damage with Bucket Blow, unlike the Water type Urshifu. And it can Sucker Punch to finish off the Regigigas as well. So Urshifu is kind of a good late game cleaner for this team against this team. So yeah, I think these are like the best counteractions. These are the best bets to counteract this team. And I'll catch you next time on next Metagame Monday. So yeah, I'll catch you next time. See ya. And of course, if you have any questions, please ask in the comments. I believe this video is a little bit shorter because I went over these things very fast. So yeah, feel free to ask in the comments, and I'll catch you next time.